Welcome everybody to the next duel in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation Next tournament. Here we have Chancellor Sheppard, the principal of Duel Academy, going up against Evil Jesse. Chancellor Sheppard is an interesting deck because it's one of those decks from GX where they only ever used like 3-4 cards or something. And so his main card was Cyber Ogre, right? You can discard him to negate a battle involving another Cyber Ogre on your field, and then that monster gains 2,000 attack until the end of its next battle. It's kind of wonky, you know, it's level 5, 1900, but it does go up to 3,900, and that can last quite a while, so it can be an offensive wall, so to speak. For the most part, I just gave him machine monsters, and one thing I tend to do is I throw in Kokimeru monsters because they tend to be beat sticks that are really nice, and you only have to reveal a card in your hand to keep them around. So, you know, power hand, you have to reveal a normal trap card, which there aren't too many of, but there is a decent amount. The other main thing that he runs in this deck is Cyber Ogre 2, which is a fusion of 2 Cyber Ogres. When he attacks, he gains half the attack of who he's battling during damage calc only, so he is a walking rare Yoku. It is fucking amazing if you can get this guy out. You do have a Panzer Dragon. Since I decided not to put that in the Zane decks, I threw that in for this guy, and so you can instant fusion into him, let him die during the end phase with the spell card's effects, and then destroy a card on the field. So it's not too bad, you know? Or you can even use him as quick and easy tribute material for your Cyber Ogre. There's also a really strong beatdown theme here. So since all monsters in this deck are in fact machine monsters, you do run Solidarity, which will give all of your monsters 800 attack points. And that's some crazy shit, because if you have a Cyber Ogre that's already 2,700, and you have another one sitting in your hand that can boost them up to 47, you can easily run over a Cyber End Dragon. So this deck, it's kind of slow and it's a little bit clunky, but it can really beat things down. You also have a tiny bit of an equip spell theme going on here with United We Stand, Break Draw, Premature Burial, and 7 Completed. And that's all so that you can use Arm Changer, which is a nifty little strategy that he used in, I think, one of the Tag Force games, where you can actually, when the equipped monster destroys stuff, you can add monsters from your graveyard to your hand, depending on, you know, attack points, so that you can recycle these Cyber Ogres. Cyber Shadow Gardener can go ahead and it can only be summoned during your opponent's turn, and it resets itself during the end phase, but it copies the stats of the opponent's strongest monsters, so it can be a really nice wall. And then the last thing I would like to mention for this deck is Scrap Fusion. While you control no monsters, you can fusion summon something in your opponent's extra deck by removing from play materials, as long as all the materials are in their graveyard. And this is GX, so most decks have fusion monsters, and you know, obviously you're gonna be sitting there letting them do their things. Some decks, like Zane's deck, let's say, does a lot of milling, and so you're going to sit there and wait for them, or run over all of their monsters with your beatdown theme in order to get everything into the graveyard and just steal one of their strongest monsters, summon it to your field, totally legal and everything. That is one of the most absurd plays I've ever seen, and so hopefully Chancellor Sheppard can pull this off. But now it's time to go over the opponent. So the opponent is Evil Jesse, aka Jesse, who was, you know, possessed by Yubel, and all the Crystal Beast monsters are the same, so I won't really go over their effects too much because most people know them. But essentially, Crystal Beasts, when they get destroyed, I believe they have to be on the field. They can turn into gems, which translates into they turn into continuous spell cards, right? And so you want them all, you want all 7 of them either on the field or in your graveyard to summon your Rainbow Dragon, or in this case, your Rainbow Dark Dragon. This deck is really nice, and some of the effects are actually a little bit different than the original Crystal Beast. But the 2 Crystal Beasts that matter the most are Sapphire Pegasus. On summon, you just take any Crystal Beast in your hand, deck, or grave and put in your spell and trap zone. And there is Ruby Carbuncle, where if it's in your spell and trap zone, you can special summon it just by itself. And when Ruby Carbuncle is ever special summoned, you can bring out all of the different gems in your back row. So you do run one of each of the different Pendulum monsters. And so really quickly, in the Pendulum zone, Vanguard protects all of your monsters here, your Crystal Beast and your Rainbow Dragon monsters from card effects. And you contribute it on the field to add any one of those from your deck to your hand, or you can even add a Crystal Spell or Trap. Crystal Protector over here protects all of those monsters from being destroyed by said card effects the first time, you know, every single turn that those monsters would be destroyed. And on the field and in the hand, you contribute him for a sort of a Colute effect where he doubles the original attack of said monster. The biggest downside to the Advanced Crystal Beasts is they need Advanced Dark on the field. Without Advanced Dark, they automatically get destroyed. And even if you just put them into your spell and trap card zone, they just cannot exist whatsoever. The benefit of Advanced Dark is when you take any sort of battle damage, you can actually negate that damage by dumping a Crystal Beast. And so this stacks up your graveyard for your boss monster, Rainbow Dark Dragon. So as I said before, summon him when you have 7 different Advanced Crystal Beasts on your field and or graveyard. And his different effects are, you can go ahead and send all Crystal Beast monsters you control to the graveyard to give them 1,000 attack points for each. And this is during either player's turn. The second effect is, when he would be destroyed, just go ahead and sack off one of the gems in your back row instead. And then the downside for Rainbow Dark Dragon is you can't use those effects the turn that he's summoned, but honestly, he's a 4,000 beat stick, so who really cares? Crystal Beasts have some pretty nice support here too with Crystal Bonds. You add a Crystal Beast and then you put another one from your deck into your zone, then Rainbow Bridge searches any Crystal Spell and Trap. This one here is called Ultimate Crystal Formation, and it's very powerful. When a Crystal Beast monster is destroyed in battle, you send 7 differently named Crystal Beasts from your hand, field, and deck to the grave, and you bring out your Fusion monster. And when the Fusion monster or your Rainbow Dark Dragon leave your monster zone because of an opponent's card effect, you can go ahead and take the different Crystal Beasts in your graveyard, I believe, and put them in your back row for setup purposes, and certain spell cards need some in your back row anyways. Here we have Ultimate Crystal God Rainbow Over Dragon. Exact same stat line as Rainbow Dragon. And he uses 7 Crystal Beast monsters for his Fusion Summon. What you can do is, if you don't want a Fusion Summon, which as you can see there's no poly, you can either use the trap card or tribute your Rainbow Dark Dragon on your field. You can banish Crystal Beast monsters from your graveyard to give him that monster's attack until the end phase, or you can tribute him if he's been Fusion Summoned to shuffle all cards on the field back into their owner's decks. So crazy stuff. And then the last card I'll go over right here is Last Trick. So after this card resolves, if a spell card your opponent activated goes to the graveyard, you snatch that up and add it to your hand, which can lead to some very crazy stuff happening. You can snatch up Monster Reborns or other people's Dark Holes or all sorts of things. Wild deck, but if you don't open up with your field spell, then you're basically gonna lose. So moving on to the duel.